Hello, welcome to another video, and today I wanted to show off, finally, my Iron Bear build, Banjo Bear. This is the Iron Bear build that I've been running for many moons now. The recent endgame rush, this was the fastest of clearing a Moze build in all the endgame content. This is also the build that I won the hunt with, because it's just so easy to farm for, and it's so stupidly powerful. So, before I jump into some true Guardian takedown gameplay, I'm just going to quickly run through the important bits in the build. It is an Iron Bear build, so a lot of these skills don't really do much for us. And the point of this build was 100% uptime, as close to as possible, because we know how dumb Iron Bear is. Getting 100% uptime is quite important. So we got a big, we use the Flame class mod. It's all about the Flame class mod. I'm going to be using a level 13 one here, just to show that it really doesn't matter getting a good one. See, none of those help us here. So, really big guns for damage, double times for movement speed, big surplus for some extra fire dots to do that flame. Biofuel, as long as it's active, you cannot die. Never going to give you up, and then engines to get us down to feature creep, which is very good damage. Blue tree is just simple, these four right here. Torque dust motion is for hull point radius, I'll get into that in a bit. Red tree is to get down to Saber rounds, since it's the best for the raid bosses. Experimental munitions and drowning and brass being the two most important pickups here, followed by security bear. And then green tree is very, very standard down to specialist. Clad of lead does help. Stoke the embers doesn't really help, but none of these do anyway, because you know it's an Iron Bear build. Scorching Iron Beams does, so we take that as well. It's also worth mentioning Daka Bear it's cool, especially in multiplayer, but we're not going to be sat in Auto Bear. In fact, I don't even have Auto Bear spec'd. You can spec it at a cost of stainless or torque cost, but it increases the height of Iron Bear, so you can't fit through various doorways, like the interior building in Slaughter Shaft in the back left-hand corner, up the stairs to get to the top section. You can't fit through there. You have to go the long way around. So we don't take Daka Bear. And why does this build work? Well, Iron Bear is so incredibly, like, stupid OP, right? You don't really need damage. I'm using non-damage passives on a non-damage class mod, and we are going around just completely annihilating these enemies. And you can see from the spawn count, this is a true Guardian takedown as well. And, well, you kind of feel sorry for him. I mean, you don't. This build is also indestructible. If biofuel is active, Iron Bear cannot die. At all. You physically cannot die. You physically cannot die in Iron Bear, as long as biofuel is active. Now, it's worth mentioning that there is a UI bug. It says biofuel is active right now. I can guarantee you it's not. But that health bar can hit 0. And it'll just stay there, and it'll just go back up. The health bar wasn't going down at first there, because it's security bear. Security bear also just gives us damage reduction. But, as you can see, with 5 in, get out of my square. 5 in biofuel, our health bar isn't going anywhere. Just teleport inside my square. That's mean. So yeah, now how do we keep biofuel active? We're using dual cap arms here. Obviously there's no fire dots there. Well, the anoint on our grenade, when Iron Bear is active, taking damage has a 20% chance to spawn a grenade. Now I'm using a rad hex here for ad clear rate. I do highly recommend just like good flamer grenades. This one, if you saw in my recent Jevon Mogwai video, this grenade was dropping a lot. Highly recommended when building this build together. That's the grenade that I used during the hunt. Well, I got a pretty early rad hex during the hunt, but the goal was to use this elemental persistent contact grenade. It's very, very good for those fire dots. So that's going to give us a bunch of fire dots. And then other sources of fire dot is the Dark Army that I've equipped. So obviously, holding a weapon... Is you the one in my square? You are in my square. So holding weapon in Iron Bear doesn't do anything. There are 2 guns that do something. And that is the Boogeyman and the... Well, technically 3. The Boogeyman, the Guardian Angel, and the Dark Army. Unfortunately, though, the Guardian Angel doesn't actually boost Iron Bear. It's only, like, the grenades that are being launched out. Which are great and all. Especially if you use, like, Fish Slap Static Charge or something. But, yeah, for the most part, not really a bother. This is a really weak showing of crystals. Apologies for my gameplay. couple of items there. So, yeah, where was that? Oh yeah, the Boogeyman skulls aren't that good. They're not consistent enough. They don't hit a lot of enemies. Anyway, that's a nice chain reaction. There's a diadem there. Right, we're about to run out of Iron Bear, so just going to quickly jump out. And it's already on cooldown. Cool. Cool. Good cooldown. Good cooldown. Yes. I felt in danger there. Yeah. That's the grenades and the dark armies at play. Often what's cool, when I swap away from dark armies, the explosions will hit me, because the dark army drones detonate. They'll hit me, the player, and they'll instantly give us flame back. Now, Banjo Bear, the name. Where's the electric banjo come in? Well, he didn't really come in there, he might have done, but Iron Bear doesn't really get outside bonuses in your gear. The only ones that it gets are splash damage, splash radius, action skill damage, and maximum health. Well, because we can't really die out of a square. Because we can't really die, maximum health is so, we don't really need that. You can run, like, the God plus Ultra here. It doesn't really matter too much, if I'm honest. You can run the God plus Ultra. But yeah, max health is so. Action skill damage, you can't roll that on Artifact. And then splash radius and splash damage are in the same passive in AoE. But I'm currently using cat bombs, so, well, they don't do splash. Now, I still do run the AoE when I'm speedrunning for Hollow Point radius. And the Radsplosion damage and radius. That's that section of that room cleared out already. But otherwise, for playing it safe, the Electric Banjo does more than enough, and we can still get some very shiny Hollow Points there, as we saw. So yeah, the Banjo, we're not losing anything by taking it. There's no other artifact that could go in that slot. Victory Rush doesn't apply, nothing about the accompaniment applies. There's nothing, Otto's Idol doesn't apply. There's nothing that applies that boosts Iron Bear. So we can run the Banjo. What the Banjo does is, as we shoot enemies outside of Iron Bear, it creates the shock chains, which then get big surplus, and all of our ASEs, we've got ASE Fire and Shield, and we've got big surplus. They'll apply to the Banjo chains, which are sources of fire, and fire dots, which gives us flame. It's all about having the perfect consistency on flame, because we, of course, don't want to spend any time outside of Iron Bear. The main problem with a lot of Iron Bear builds, and the other class mods like Raging Bear, Bear Trooper, and Flare, is the moment Iron Bear ends, you're kind of dead in the water. You have to put some resources into making Moze better, so you don't just fall flat and die. So you don't just fall flat and die, which obviously isn't good. Oh, I don't have my movement speed artifact on, so I'm going to have to do the long jump here. Okay, we go. Yeah, we don't want that, so I don't want to be playing as Moze. This is full Iron Bear. I'm about to have a very rude anathema here, if I get it right. And I am actually going to swap to my Air of Effect Damage artifact here. So we're not limited to the Banjo, of course. Now, you see, my Banjo's level 27, it doesn't really matter. Now, which one do I use? Yeah, I use the Snowdrift here. Just to drive home the point, there is no legendary effect that affects Iron Bear, so this is the one that I use for speedrunning. It gives us the max radius for hollow points, and Saber Round. Saber Round radius actually does make a difference. Especially in the Hemovorous fight. And then, of course, the movement speed and Snowdrift, just so I'm getting from A to B quicker as Moze. Which is why I also have the EMP5. But anyway. Right to Iron Bear. Cool. So we phase Iron Bear there. I'm gonna run over here. And now we wait. So what I'll do is I'll shoot a few ads to get Drowning Brass up. Without the splash damage and action skill damage that I normally run on a flame, it's not as consistent as normal, but it's close enough, I think. Yeah, that'll do. Shoot two more enemies. And yeah, in terms of raid boss damage, there is no threat in raid bosses. Is you basically just AFK them and say, we are indestructible. We can just be hands off keyboard. If you want a very easy way, an easy build to build for, the hardest item to obtain is probably the Flame Class mod. But as I'm showing with the level 13 Flame Class mod that I got, it really just doesn't matter. I think I fired those a bit too soon. No, we're fine. Let's get a few more kills. I should have shot this Wraith here. You're going to stand in my way, aren't you? Am I moving over to the left a little bit? Thank you, buddy. In terms of just ad clear, this build is very difficult to match because of just how powerful Cap Arms is. They go through walls, they have incredible range. It's like a Ties the Bind, but on a 1 second cooldown, essentially. Alright, now that we've, I did that a bit late. So now we've got to the shield phase, I'm going to go back over to Cap Arms. There's the electric Banjo, giving us our flame back. We're going to run up over to Anathema. Get out of my way! Cool. Yeah, the Saber rounds don't do too well on the shield bar here, so I often swap over to Cap Arms. And kill the other enemies so they don't eat the chains. There we go. Can we hit the crit spot? Not quite. Aim is not good enough today. So yeah, that's basically Banjo Bear. If you want nukes, you'd basically just take a point out of feature creep, which means you do have a bit less damage for every single non-nuke hardpoint. And then you can put them into, say, Auto Bear, or... I don't like Auto Bear, because Auto Bear steals a lot of kills from the fire dots. It makes it a bit more awkward. So I tend to not go that route, but yeah, if you do want nukes, just take it out of feature creep and the Nitro engine skill. And that's the most relaxed Anathema kill you've ever seen. And that's how you can reach nukes. And nukes are fantastic in Cistern Slaughter. Now, the hiccups of the build, sorry if you can hear my dogs, they barked throughout the day recently. Got a new puppy, Badger, he's amazing. Dog of Mass Destruction, that's a nice reflux. Well, not really. Dogs are the greatest. Where was I? What was the line of thinking? Oh yeah, the pain point to the build is shock immune enemies, obviously, and there's multiple ways of dealing with that. We've got Cloud of Lead, so you can look into a fire hit. We've got experimental munitions. If you hit a headshot, it does the fire damage. That's how I kill the shock immune racks in Cistern, and that's how I kill the shock immune heavies in the Maliwan takedown. Skags are a bit more awkward since they're harder to crit, but because we have like a 2-second cooldown, and that's the advantage of going cooldown rather than duration. Duration, when it ends, if you do die or you need to swap weapons or whatever, you still have to deal with that massive cooldown of Iron Bear, whereas Flame, it's just 2 seconds. You can swap to Hell and Rails, or Sabos, or Vank Pods, or Barefist. This is fun to do with Barefist. Like, we're not limited to Cap Arms. Barefist, you're running around just one-punching everything, it's so much fun. The clear rate is obviously slower, but Wild Sling, it's got a radius. So you punch one enemy and everybody around you explodes, even if you don't have red dots. It's amazing. So yeah, that's the build. I highly recommend the Dark Army. Hot for Teddies are great, you know, just for fire dots. I use the URAD Plasma Coil to get myself out of fight for my life if I ever do go down, but, you know, this is a really safe build. If I was ever to do a permadeath 1 life for this game, my easiest, I'd say this is the easiest. You just have to do a little bit of arms race, but I like arms race a lot, so I don't mind. Obviously, the perfect flame looks like this, or that one with a bit more damage. That's what the perfect flame looks like. In terms of shield, I use the Vagabond just to get me around faster, just on my feet. The bonus incendiary is the important thing there. Plus Ultra is a nice safer option, gives you a bit more buffer on the Iron Bear. It's not really needed, but it's there as an option. And as for grenades, Rad Hex is, say, perfect, but the persistent contact grenade that you can get from Jabba Mogwai is a great stepping stone, very easy to obtain. And the Anoint that makes Iron Bear throw the grenade out when it takes damage is mandatory. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the little showcase there of Banjo Bear. It's my favorite Iron Bear build to play. It's just absolutely amazing. It just romps through this game, no difficulty. Incredibly easy to build for as well. Very easy to pull the pieces together. You don't even need the Dark Army. Like my bare first item I use is a foursome. when I first did the Guardian takedown, I used a bear cat. So yeah, it doesn't really matter. It's fine. But save file in the Discord. Enjoy. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye bye.